25 Mexican National Guard troops left dead during an operation that killed cartel leader El Mencho. Oh, yeah, I don't. They're
wanted men. Mexico's military, with help from the United States, killing the drug lord known as El Mencho.
And that operation now setting off mayhem in the streets of Mexico. It's also creating dangers for American tourists there. Here's ABC's Allison Cossack.
This morning, parts of Mexico are reeling after military forces launched a daring operation to capture the country's most powerful drug lord, known as El Mencho, and ended up killing him. Cartel members unleashed violence in response in at least 20 Mexican states. ABC's Matt Rivers has covered the country for years.
What we've seen across the country in Mexico since this happened is an explosion of violence. Members of this cartel coming out, throwing up roadblocks, engaging in firefights with security forces as a way to send a message to the authorities, hey, you might have gotten our leader, but we're not going to go down quietly.
The 59-year-old El Mencho was also wanted by the U.S., a Pentagon official telling ABC News that NORTHCOM, a newly established U.S. task force, provided information for the raid. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt on X saying El Mencho was a top target for the Mexican and United States government as one of the top traffickers of fentanyl into our homeland. After the takedown, explosions erupted across Puerto Vallarta, a popular destination for Americans. Even a Costco store on fire.
It didn't burn down, but there's definitely buildings where vehicles around it on fire.
The violence forcing the Puerto Vallarta airport to suspend all flights, stranding many U.S. citizens trying to get home.
We have not been able to find a flight back, even if we hear that the airport is secure and there's military people around the airport keeping it safe. Getting there and the hour drive to the airport is the concerning part. We don't know what we may find along the way.
At the time of the raid, U.S. citizens in Puerto Vallarta were told to shelter in place until further notice. Mexico authorities say order is gradually being restored. Allison Cossack, ABC News, New York.
all right. I'm sure there's more to that story, as I'm just going to kind of cover, I don't know how to say it, like the base of this story, right? I'm not going to get into all of the juicy details, but there's several articles that that popped up here with the Associated Press, and I'm sure a lot of updates as well, but probably some multiple numbers. I'm going to read a little bit more here. Meanwhile, heavily armed Mexican security forces kept up their battle with cartel gunmen following the killing that sparked a surge in violence and put the country on edge. Cartel fighters continued to block roads as smoke rose on the outskirts of the town in the state of Jalisco. More than 70 people died in the attempt to capture this drug lord, El Mencho, and the aftermath. And I think I saw another story that said 73 overall. And, here's one of the updated articles, I guess, right here. But they're saying 25 Mexican National Guard troops left dead during this operation that killed the cartel leader El Mencho, and of course the U.S. wanted by the U.S. as well. It's like, don't we have other things? There's probably some kind of more to the story, underlining thing or symbolism here. It was a 146-day span from this killing to El Mencho's birthday. That's amazing because the 146 connects with Donald Trump because that's his birthday, the 14th day of the 6th month. So, anytime you hear anything involving the U.S. and Mexico, you're going to have Donald Trump connections. And look at that right there. You see that? Now, 146-day span, that's from start to end. The killing to his July 17 birthday, both dates, 146-day span. And again, Donald Trump's birthday is the 14th day of the 6th month. You got a lot of the immigration and border stuff going on, a lot of those stories with Trump. So I think every time I've looked at anything related, it's been connected to the Donald. Even Trump equals 25, and it says 25 Mexican National Guard troops left dead. There's probably specifics more in the article, right? Maybe, shootings and such. But again, we're not dissecting the article here. 25 National Guard troops dead when Trump equals 25 as well. El Mencho has 75 in the ordinal cipher. I want you to see that right there. And look at his name, Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, a.k.a. El Mencho, right? Look, 75. That number is trending. I just mentioned it in a previous decode where Pete Alonso had the 75 baseball player. He debuted with the Orioles, and it was 75 days after his birthday. And that connected to Ray Lewis, another Baltimore athlete, not, formally with the Ravens, born in 75. And that was a $155 million contract with Alonso. And that's the Ray Lewis birthday, 155. But you could see how the 75 just landed in that story. Now it lands again. Now check this out, because even Canada just lost to the U.S. in hockey in the Olympics or whatever. Canada equals 39. Notice how Mexico equals 93, the reflection. But back to the 39, El Mencho equals 39. Mexican National Guard troops, 309, like 39, and 393. You see the 3 and the 9 in there. You even see the 9 and the 3. However you want to look at it. And check this out, because Arizona equals 39. Arizona connected to Mexico, literally bordering Mexico. Well, we get a lot of border stories out here. Immigration, ICE. Arizona equals 39. Isn't that amazing? Look how it says to get there. I'm assuming that's from where I'm at, because it's on Google. Look, to get there, $309 plus. 309 like 39. Isn't that amazing how that worked out? 309, $309 to get to Mexico City from here, Arizona, bordering Mexico. 309, 39, and yeah, that syncs up exactly with the 309 with Mexican National Guard troops and with all these other 39s that you see right here. Check that out. Okay, now again, this is amazing. Mexico was established as a federal republic on October 4th, 1824. That's amazing. Look at cartel leader equals 104. which is exactly like the 10th month and the 4th day. Look at that. Even leader has 45. Arizona's birthday, the 45th day of the year. We'll get more into Arizona's birthday as well. I didn't try to lean the Arizona way with this, but when I see the numbers, it's amazing. So cartel leader, that's ABC 123. You could see the cipher right there. Look at the cipher. 104 ABC 123. Apply that method. And that's the Mexico established on 104 as a federal republic with the enactment of its first constitution following the fall of the first Mexican Empire. Check that out. So I'm going to go to this character again here. So this guy, commonly referred to as El Mencho, was a Mexican drug lord and head of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, an organized crime group based in Jalisco. He was the most wanted person in Mexico and one of the most wanted in the United States at the time of his death. There's probably like a Osama bin Laden connection somewhere, possibly, as well. You know, there's probably a El Chapo connection, probably somewhere as well. So this is the cartel's name right here, Jalisco New Generation Cartel. Jalisco right there. And I'm just going to see if that matches anything that may be in the system from the article. Oh, look, 278. Is that's his name, right? That's his name. Look, that's his name. 278, like the cartel's name that he was involved with. Look at that. Same cipher, y'all. Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, 278. Like Jalisco New Generation Cartel. Check that out. You think I'm playing? Well, I am not. Look at that. Damn. So back over here. So we're going to talk more about this October 4 being named a federal republic. I think I have more of the Trump birthday in here. Because check this out. Check this out. Dude dies 141 days after Mexico was established as a federal republic. The anniversary. He dies 141 days later, and El Mencho equals 141 in that reverse cipher. Now, that's after the anniversary of the establishment as a federal republic for Mexico. But if you include that anniversary date, then it's a 142-day span, and that's Arizona's birthday, which also just passed Valentine's Day, which is the 14th day of the second month. Look at that. And National Guard equals 214. Again, that's the Arizona birthday. The second month and the 14th day. Check that out. Isn't that wild? And he dies 8 days after the Arizona birthday. Again, Arizona borders Mexico. We get these immigration stories all day long. You know, we got remember the Trump wall as well. Okay, you're gonna get the Mexico stories, anything related Mexican. You're gonna get Donald Trump connections. Isn't that amazing? And check this out, because that anniversary of that establishment for Mexico as a federal republic Look at that. Leaves 88 days in the year when Trump equals 88 in the language. You can see T is the 20th letter, R18, U21, M13, P16. You add it up and you get 88, y'all. Nice. You know, nice decode, if I may admit so. Not nice if people are actually dying, but these stories are brought to us as distraction. Like I said, the US has to have more concerning issues to get involved. I mean, you want, fentanyl, serious thing, right? But I'm pretty sure a doctor invented fentanyl, right? And who, I don't know let me look right here. Who invented fentanyl? And they're blaming this guy for bringing it in. So look at this. Starts with a J. And look, the guy's name is Jansen, starts with a J-A. That's interesting because this guy, J-A, Jalisco New Generation Cartel, that's kind of interesting. But look, here's this guy. Fentanyl was invented by Dr. Paul Jansen, and I bet he wasn't Mexican. Belgian chemist. So yeah, maybe. And look, founder of Janssen Pharmaceutica in 1960. Remember, Donald Trump equals 60. So maybe this guy that they kill. Look, looks like a white guy. Oh, he's already dead. Look, he was born in 26. Now we're in the year 26, and they're saying this cartel leader was bringing in fentanyl into the U.S. Look at this. Dude who invented it was born in 26. See that right there? Born in Belgium. And this company even has over 20,000 employees, which became a subsidiary of Johnson and Johnson. That's interesting. More J's. Wow, that's interesting. So look how this, maybe we shouldn't just be taking out cartel members, right? And look, it says Johnson and Johnson was founded in New Jersey. Is this? I'm assuming it's the same Johnson and Johnson. So, don't they sell like baby oil? What all products does Johnson and Johnson sell? Did I say this? Man. Oh, medicine, prescription drugs. Don't they sell like baby oil though? Or lotion? Or am I tripping? Yeah. See that right there? Interesting. Man, things are expensive as I enter my old age. Like that Trump thumbnail right there. This is all in Spanish, I guess. Now it says 27 cowardly attacks against the authorities. As you can see, some of the chaos here. So I don't know. Were these guys shot, I guess. There's a Mexican president. Let's look her up real quick before we bounce. Mexican president, right here. Look at her birthday real quick. Claudia Sheinbaum. Her birthday is 10 days after Donald Trump. Look at that right there. She's got the June 24 birthday. That's so not a coincidence. Remember, Trump completely synced up here. And dude dies 146-day span from his death to his upcoming birthday, July 17. Again, that's that Trump birthday. Shit, no coincidence, man. 10 days later is her birthday. Come on, man. Come on, man. Mexican politician, energy and climate change scientist, the first woman and the first Jewish person to hold the office, president of Mexico. Jeez. Isn't that wild? And look, her husband's name is Jesus. Remember, Jesus Christ equals 146. And again, that's the Trump birthday. Look, her husband's name is Jesus. Look, Jesus Christ, 146. And that's the Trump birthday. Trump equals 47. Killing equals 43, like Jesus Christ. Come on, man. Fake world, man. Right? So, again, there's going to be massive amounts of information to go with this story. You know, there's several articles. It looks like Kara Braxton died, who's a basketball player. That's interesting because you got the Braxton name, and we're just after Birdman's birthday, who's synced up with Tony Braxton. I think that's her name. Shout out to Richard West for being all over uh, the Tony Braxton Birdman connection. Now Kara Braxton dies, no relation, shortly after the Birdman birthday. So I might have to hop onto that decode. Right? You know, here's our article here on this Mexican cartel leader. Is that him right there? That looks like that doesn't look real. This doesn't look real right here. Like, why would they blatantly just show that? That doesn't look real. That's staged. Sorry. Soldiers keep up the clash. So here's an updated article here. This is from yesterday at 9:42 p.m. Soldiers keep up clash with cartel gunmen a day after Mexico's military killed top drug lord. I'll see you in the next decode.